What is up, Dokkan player? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Blaze. Today we are back with another Dokkan battle video. And today, before we start the video, of course, hope he's having a very good day today. So today, we're going to look at the top 10 best units that you should be bringing here against the new Cell Max event, which is definitely the most difficult content in the game of Dokkan right now, both on global and on JP. But right now, we'll be looking at the top 10 units in the global version of Dokkan, because as you guys know, there's gonna be some characters that we don't have here that JP does have access, since it is 6 months older than the global. So right now, shout out here to Raspy. Of course, here we have the breakdown of the boss here for the Cell Max. Now this Cell Max does have 3 phases, and the first 2 stages are actually pretty simple. But when you get to this stage right here, stage number 3, this is where I feel like a lot of people just dropped their mouth, because this was like very unexpected of how much damage he was doing, because we go from 80k to 135, and then we just jump to 530 per attack here, and he does like 9 attacks per turn. So again, Cell Max in the last phase is a demon. Like, he's just a unmovable force that's just doing tons of damage here. So today we're going to show you some characters that you should be bringing here against this event, and also some tips here as well. So as far as the characters, there's not really going to be any order. These are just my top 10 characters I feel like that can definitely help you win this event here because of their passive here. So the first character we're going to talk about here is going to be here Broly. Now Broly is, you know, kind of designed to go against Hybrid Saiyans and also Pure Saiyans, because from his passive he does get the extra 18% damage reduction, and also gets the extra 18% to perform a super attack, and also a chance to crit here as well. Now the good thing about Broly is that as long as the event keeps going on and on, you can actually stack your attack and defense, which of course is going to be really good. Now Broly, when you actually get here to the last phase, because the thing is that when you're doing the first 2 stages of this Cell Max here, the real strategy is that you actually want to take your time and not completely destroy him in the first 2 phases. And you can actually get away with it, because if you are bringing a full in team, for example, if you're using here a double Broly, you can actually go ahead and take your time, because he has type disadvantage. So you can actually take your time to build up your defense. And yes, his attacks here aren't actually that crazy. Even his AoE is only 135. But you do have to watch out for his super attack. But even to that, Broly is going to stack up defense, especially if he does multiple super attacks, because he can still do 3 super attacks despite not going against your A pure or hybrid Saiyan. Which of course, the higher defense, and if you also get your the same type P spheres, will also allow you to heal you up. Now the good thing is that Broly also has an active skill, which can be activated when you do 4 or more super attacks. And you actually get your Ki +6, attack +60%, and then also all his attacks are going to be super effective against all types. So if you find yourself kind of stuck in the second part of the phase because you're not doing too much damage, you can actually go ahead and use the active skill, and then you can take care of course, your the Cell Max. Now again, another tip you also wanted to take consideration is that in the first 2 phases, you actually want to try and go for the same type keysters as much as possible. Even if you don't get a super attack, it's not the end of the world, because again, you want to stay stacking your attack or defense or build up your Dokkan meter for this phase right here, because in this last phase, when this guy has 60 million HP and he's doing 530 attack damage per normal, and even his super attack is 1.855. Not a lot of characters are actually going to survive this. You want to make sure that you're not staying too long in this phase here, because again, he can also do 2 super attacks just like Broly as well, and also he does actually lock your character, which is a 50% chance. And this locking mechanic actually is pretty annoying, because sometimes, you know, your run can be going really well, and then one of your characters who are not good defensively, do have to sit in slot number 1 and then eat a super attack unless they dodge it, right? So again, this cell right here, this locking mechanic, is actually what makes him very difficult. And on top of that, you can only bring here a Senzu Bean. So a Senzu Bean, you know, definitely can help you out, but that damage reduction would be much better if you can bring a Wheeze or like a Ghost Usher, because this super attack is just so disgusting how much damage it does here. So yeah, so again, Broly, once you actually get to this phase right here, Broly, depending on the team that he's on right now, he can actually tank the super attack. He's actually one of the characters that can actually tank the super attack. Usually around like 300k of defense If you get supered by this guy right here, you're gonna take here about 400 to 450, depending on the hidden potential system of damage. Which, of course, you know, if you're rocking 600 or 700k of HP, that means you are surviving his super attack. So Broly definitely underrated, but it's, you know, with time going by, Broly is actually becoming, you know, is aging like fine wine. So in my opinion, you know, Broly is actually a top 10 unit that you can bring here against Cell Max, just because you also have here the type advantage, and again, he has a pretty good leader skill. It's just right now, like, characters in these categories aren't really, you know, they're not really meant for this guy right here. Like the last phase is just very deadly. Like even Janemba, LR Janemba, I did bring him here, and in the last phase he takes like 100k per normal. But my Janemba is only at 55%. So if you haven't fully rainbowed, then Janemba should be okay against Cell Max. But you know, Janemba even takes some damage here. So again, right now this will get better once we actually get Cooler, because Cooler is gonna be part here of movie bosses. So again, we should, in about like a couple of days, like 5 or 6 days here, we should be getting here, of course, Cooler and also the Super Saiyan Goku. Now, the second character I do want to mention here is going to be here Pycon. I've been saying this ever since he came out. Pycon is just a fantastic unit. Definitely, you know, very usable in the Ultimate Red Zone in certain events. Of course, you can't use him against Broly because he can't dodge. But in this event here against Cell Max, you are able to dodge here, which also means you are able to counter. But more importantly, Pycon is just really here for his Ghost Usher, because again, in the Cell Max event, you are limited to only bringing a Sensu Bean. So yeah, he also has a very good passive, which is actually very consistent as well to get, because you can see here from his passive, he gets attack and defense 150. Then super class allies key +2 plus initial attack and defense +30% with 3 or more type key spheres obtained. And then also key +4 and a high chance of evading enemy's attack, including super attack, and seals the attack enemy with just 1 rainbow key sphere, right? So Pycon, you know, has a very good leader skill. He's on some really good teams here because he's also going to be here on Movie Heroes, a Battle of Wits, Connective Hope. So he has some pretty good categories. But more importantly, when you are doing the Cell event, Pycon actually doesn't take any damage in these phases right here. Even in this phase here, if you actually get super attack, again, you have a 50% chance to dodge, because if you give him that rainbow key sphere, it will, you know, proc that passive. Now, in this event here, he will take some damage for sure. One attack is going to do like 500k depending on your hidden potential system. But really, like, when you have Pycon in this last phase, like, you really just want to put him in slot number 3. You want to float him off and then use his Ghost Usher. And using his Ghost Usher is going to be very effective because it does give you that extra 1 turn. And just in case he actually locks your characters in the way that you don't want, at least you can kind of get away with it and then reset the next turn when you actually get your rotations again. Again, Pycon, he can still dodge in the last phase as well, because again, this guy does not disable dodging. So Pycon is definitely going to be, in my opinion, definitely runnable here. Whatchamacallit, with his beautiful active skill, right? It is only going to be a turn 4, and your opponent's HP has to be above 50%. But listen, with all the damage that you're doing, this cell has 16 million damage. So even on turn 3, you're still most likely going to be able to use the active skill for Pycon. So very, very consistent. And really, I don't have really much to say about Pycon, but he's just a very fantastic unit, especially with a 50% chance to dodge, because you want to bring characters that can dodge in the last phase right here. So the next character I'm going to talk about, which is, I guess, number 3, is Evolution Blue Vegeta. I cannot believe it. Like, I thought this guy was just, you know, he just aged out because he's just not that runnable in the Ultimate Red Zone. But in the Cell Max event, I will say that Vegeta does get a pass here. So from his passive, he gets attack and defense 150, reduced damage by 10% plus additional damage reduction of 10% within the same turn. Each attack is received up to 30%. Then he gets your key +1 with each attack performed up to key +5. Medium chance of launching additional super attack if HP is 50% or less. At the start of character's attacking turn, after the character receives 7 or more attacks in battle. Revives with 70% HP cover when the character or an ally attacking the same turn is KO'd. So this Evolution Blue Vegeta, again, is going to be really good because the first 2 stages of the Cell Max event really does not hit very hard. And the way you actually want to go ahead and use this Vegeta is that you want to make sure before you're going into this last phase that you actually get your 7 hits within these first 2 stages of the boss for Cell Max, because Vegeta does have the revival. Now when you are in against here the last stage, if you have Vegeta fully maxed out with 10 links and fully rainbowed, his damage reduction is going to come very through, but in the first hit he's going to get here, Vegeta is going to take care 100k. But really, that's not that bad. 100k is actually not that bad, considering that this Cell Max does 530,000 attack. Sorry, 530,000 per attack here. So most units get absolutely destroyed. They're taking like 300 to 400k per attack. But with Vegeta, because of his damage reduction, after each attack he's getting, the attack is actually going to be going lower and lower. As far as the super attack, he actually doesn't take that much damage either. He's only going to take roughly, depending where your damage reduction is going to be here, he does take here like roughly 200 to 300k. Again, that's not that bad considering, again, this guy does 1.855 million on his super attack. This is also very useful as well for Vegeta because, again, as you guys know, this character can do a double super. So if you're actually entering the turn and your HP is below 50%, once you have the 7 attacks already built up here for Vegeta, you could actually use the revival, which is really good because, again, the revival is going to recover 70% of your HP, and then of course you get another free turn as well. Now the good thing about this Vegeta is that he's actually very good when it comes to damage against his cell, because he can do triple supers and also he can triple crit here as well, because he does have a high chance to crit for 1 turn. So Vegeta is actually a very good character, surprisingly, because again, like, you bring this Vegeta in the ultimate red zone against Broly, and you're just getting cooked. He's just completely, like, useless in that event. But now that we're talking about Cell, Cell is just completely different because now we have your type advantage. So Vegeta is definitely going to be very good. He's also going to be on a lot of categories as well. So if you're missing, you know, certain leaders of a certain category, it's okay because he's going to be on a ton of team builds so that you can actually go against Broly here. So that's going to be it for the Vegeta. Again, he also has the active skill, which is an AoE, which is, you know, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it is some free damage that you can do that's actually effective against Broly because you are type advantage here. So that's going to be my number 3 character for Broly. The next character we're going to talk about here is going to be Majin Vegeta. Now, this guy, I would say, if in terms of ranking for top 10, he would be number 10. And the reason why is because for global players, we don't really have that luxury of bringing 8 Trunks in our team build here, because all the Trunks that we have here on the global side, they just get turned to ashes when we get to this last phase right here. Like, there's not really any good Trunks you can really bring here. You can maybe bring the future Trunks, the tech one that transforms, and then you can stack your defense. But listen, this is only two stages, so you don't have that much time to actually stack your defense to be really effective against this guy in the last phase. So Majin Vegeta is still very good, but the thing is that if you have this guy at 55%, he still actually gets destroyed in the last phase, unless you actually get his full passive. His passive here for Vegeta, as you guys can see here, he does have an intro animation, but again, only when you have a Trunks, and when you do, he actually gets the damage reduction by 30% for the rest of battle. He has attack and defense 180 at the start of turn, plus additional attack and defense plus 50% when performing a super attack, and then plus additional defense plus 50% with 3 or more key spheres. So if you're not rocking the Trunks on the team, if you bring this Vegeta, he is for sure going to be a slot 2 character, because as you guys can see, he gets a lot of defense after he super attacks, and also when you actually get your 3 or more key spheres. He also gets additional damage reduction by 20% if you collect 6 or more key spheres. And also gets your additional attack plus 88%, and randomly changes key spheres of a certain type when your HP is below 88% as well. So Majin Vegeta is definitely usable. It's just that you do have to be very cautious. I have my Majin Vegeta at 55%, and in this last phase he does take some damage, but after he does his super attack, he's a lot better defensively. But when you eat a super attack, he is taking, like, you know, depending on the situation, if it's before he super attacks, you're taking like easily 500k. But again, that's my Majin Vegeta at 55%. I have seen some global players that did use him, on the Power Beyond Super Saiyan, which is definitely usable because again, because of his passive here, Vegeta does get a lot of defense after he super attacks. So again, Majin Vegeta, because we're not really able to bring a Trunks, he is going to be borderline top 10 units to bring here against Cell, but he's still very, very good. It's just that you do have to be careful with the super attack, because if he gets super before he super attacks, you are taking a lot of damage, but after Vegeta super attacks, he's pretty much going to be good to go here against your Cell Max. So not really much to talk about. He does have here a 200% leader skill as well. The only problem with the 200% leader skill, if you are rocking a double in Majin Vegeta, is that your HP is actually not that much. You're usually rocking like 600k of defense, but any character on this team build, if you build it properly with a double in Majin Vegeta, once they get super attacked by Cell Max, you're usually taking roughly like 400 to 500k of damage, which would leave you only like 100k of defense, which is, I mean, of HP, sorry, which, you know, is not that much because this guy does, like, again, he does a lot of damage here on his regular attacks. So right now the Majin team is like kind of, you know, not the greatest when it comes to HP, but still definitely runnable for this Majin Vegeta. Because this guy will also allow you to bring here, of course, the 3th anniversary Vegito, which become very clutch because it is a free heal as well. So that's gonna be my character for number 4. My number 5 character, as you guys just saw right here, is gonna be Hercules. Again, not really much to talk about. Hercules is just a fantastic unit, and the reason why is because of his passive right here. Hercules has a high chance of evade enemies attack, including super attack, and then reduces damage received by 50% to 90%. The less HP remaining, the better the damage. Sorry, the less damage received. So Hercules, like, even though even though what's actually good about this Hercules is that even though he's not gonna be on a category, like for example, if you bring this Hercules on a Broly team, right, that's a planetary destruction or movie bosses, this character can still be very useful, and the reason why is because of his passive that we see here, right? So this damage reduction is actually really good, and also the 50% chance to dodge is really good here as well. I do feel like Hercules is actually a better dodging unit than UI Goku, despite UI Goku having a great chance to dodge. But this Hercules, like, I've seen so many like screenshots and videos of this character not being part of the category and still being used, and the reason why is because of his passive right here. He's gonna be really effective in the last phase specifically, because again, you are gonna have your type advantage as well. So not really much to talk about for Hercules, but Hercules is definitely gonna be a top 10 unit to bring here in the event, because you don't even need to have a category for this guy. You can just put him in any team, and his passive is just going to carry you through the event here. Especially if he gets locked in slot number 1, he can dodge, and he can also attack here the super attack for the Cell Max here. So that's gonna be it for Hercules, which I believe is my number 5 character. And then for my number 6 is gonna be here the 3-year anniversary LRs. There's not really any order for the Vegeta or the Gogeta. But again, they are actually really good for this event here. And one of the main reasons why is because in their passive, in their base form, they do have here a medium chance of dodging for both the Gogeta and the Vegito. But more importantly, when you get to turn 6 and your HP is below 60%, they do have that free heal, which will transform into these characters right here. Now for the Vegito, he's definitely much better than the Gogeta. The only problem is that you can't really bring him underneath the Power Beyond Super Saiyan category team build here. So you can only really use them on a Majin Buu category team, or a Potara, or even a Fused Fighter team. But for most global players, you are running here a Double Gods team with the 7-year anniversary LRs. So this Vegito, again, is really good. His passive here is attack and defense 200%. Counters normal attacks with tremendous power. Reduce damage received by 30% for 3 turns at the start of turn, and then reduce damage received by 15% from the 4th turn, and then gets key +3 in addition per rainbow key sphere. So really, this Vegito here is really here to tank. The super attacks is not so deadly from Cell Max, but I mean, you could still dodge here with this character, which is really good. And then really, if you have crits on this character, he's gonna be doing a lot of damage, because again, Cell Max does have your 60 million HP. So I would say for sure here that this video is very effective. But again, like, their easy is actually really good. But what I want to mention here is that what's still pretty good is that in their base form, they are going to be kind of effective here because, again, they still have a medium chance of dodging. I know it's nothing too crazy, but it's a lot better than characters that don't have dodge built in. Because, again, the most deadly part besides his attack for some max is going to be the super attack. So, Vegito is for sure going to be a top 10 character. You can maybe run a Potara team because it is a 180% for the lead. Just right now in global, the Potara category is just not like JP, where they have like Zamasu, they have the Easy A's for Rose, and they also have the Easy A for the LR Goku Black and Rose. So right now in global, it's not really that effective, but at least you do have a category that's 180 in your back pocket. Now this run right here, Gogeta, is going to be controversial, I guess. You can make an argument that the Tech Gogeta, let's actually pull up Tech Gogeta right here. You can make an argument here that Tech Gogeta might be better, but in my defense, the main difference between these two is that number one, in their base form, they also do have a medium chance of dodging attacks, which is really, really good. And number two is that when you actually transform into Gogeta, once you know the transformation is complete or fulfilled here, for the first 3 turns, this is what actually, in my opinion, makes him better than Tech Gogeta for this event here, is that for the first 3 turns, from the start of turn, you do have here a high chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attack. Now, this Gogeta right here, even with your damage reduction, and if you even if you do a double super, you are taking 200k per normal, or even 300k depending on the situation. The good thing is that you do have a Scouter effect, but there's not much you can really do if this character gets locked in slot number 1 and there's a super attack. Because unfortunately, Cell's attack is not a melee attack, so you're not able to nullify it. But with this Gogeta, what's good about him is that if you get locked in slot number 1 or number 2, or any slot on that turn, and there's going to be a super attack, at least you have a high chance to actually dodge it here. Now, in terms of defense, both these characters actually take the same amount of damage from normals and super attack. So with that, I'd rather have the 50% chance to dodge rather than have the Scouter here, because again, Cell in the last phase can actually lock your characters, which is a 50% chance that he locks your character. And if he does that, and then you have this Gogeta right about here, should be was it here? There we go. Yeah, if you have this Gogeta that's like just stuck somewhere in a very bad position, he's gonna get destroyed. So at least, in my opinion, you do have here a 50% chance to dodge. And also what I found here is that Gogeta's transformation is actually much more useful because it does give you a full heal once you actually transform. Now that, you know, time's been going by, I will say that the active skill for Gogeta for the healing is actually very useless because it does bring you back to full HP because it requires your HP to be above 70% in order to use the active skill, but the 30% is just almost not very useful in very difficult situations because again, like if you enter a turn below, let's say even 60%, like you're pretty much in trouble against the Cell right here. But with this Gogeta, you know, at least you get a full heal in very tight situations. So you can make again the argument that Tech Gogeta might be better, but I'm gonna say this Gogeta definitely takes the cake here because he has a high chance to dodge and also gives you a full heal in tight situations. So that's gonna be it for my next character. After this character right here, of course, here we have here the LR Gods. The LR Gods, the 70th anniversary cards, I would say is almost a must run if you do have them. And the reason why is because they're going to be one of the best defensive units against Cell Max here. And the reason why is because, of course, they stack attack and defense. But more importantly, when you actually transform into the Blue Gods, per Rainbow Keysphere, they do actually get a chance to dodge here. And also, on their super attack, their defense just goes through the roof here. Because under 18 key super, they do massively raise attack and defense for 1 turn. And under 12 key super, they also do raise attack and defense for 1 turn as well. Now, the good thing about this is that under 18 key super specifically, they do not nullify the enemy's action. So with the Scout effect or without the Scout effect, you can get pretty lucky and actually nullify Cell's super attack. And by doing so, you are going to take here like no damage. Now, if these guys do a triple super, where is it? If these guys do a triple super or even a double super, they will be taking here double digits against this Cell. Because again, they're just massively raising their defense after they super attack. And that double super, you know, when you do give them an 18 key super, or a 20 key super, sorry, they do a guaranteed additional super attack. It will allow them to tank Cell's normal attacks, which is pretty good. But before they super attack, if they get clipped by this Cell, they're going to get destroyed. Because again, the defense is just not, you know, you don't have that much time to actually stack defense against this Cell here. Now, if you are using these guys right here, again, you could get away with the stacking of the defense, but you have to really just aim for a 12 key super for the first 2 stages, so you don't really just blitz through this event here for the first 2 stages against Cell, because his HP is actually not that much here, considering how much damage that these guys do. So these guys are definitely going to be worth it. They also have a very good active skill here as well, which could be activated when your HP is below 50%, or if the enemy HP is below 50%, and you're only facing one enemy here as well. So you do have that in your back pocket. They do a lot of damage, and then when you actually use this right here, they do guarantee crits for the entire turn as well. So not really much to talk about. They have also a very good leader skill, which will allow you to bring here the Easy God Goku for this event, which is definitely a must-bring character here as well. So this will be the exact same thing here for the Super Saiyan 4s. The only difference is that this guy right here, basically, it's gonna be the exact same thing, because again, he also does the enemy nullification on his 18 key super, and also does have here a 50% chance to actually counter the super attack against Cell. So you do have to rely on RNG in tough situations, but this Gogeta, after he super attacks, is going to be okay defensively, but he does have to do a minimum of 2 super attacks to be actually tanking Cell's attacks here. So not really much to talk about for the LR Super Saiyan 4s. Again, they have a very good leader skill. They're pretty much identical to the LR Gods, but in most situations you want to bring here a double LR Goku and Vegeta for the 7th anniversary LRs, because of their leader skill, which will allow you to bring this character, which is basically be our last one, the God Goku. Again, God Goku, not much to talk about. He is your best defensive unit in the game of Dokkan, and the reason why is because of his passive here, where he does get here damage reduction by 77% when there's a movie boss or pure Saiyan category enemy. Again, this is going to be your best defensive unit. Now, even with the damage reduction on a super attack from this guy right here, he is taking here 300k is the average, right? But the way you actually want to go ahead and use this Goku in your hidden potential system is that you actually want to give him more dodge, because a dodge from this guy's super attack is actually very helpful to your HP. Because again, not a lot of characters can actually tank this for double digits. I don't even think there's any character that can tank it for double digits for his super attack. But this God Goku definitely is a must run. He would definitely carry you, and he's also a very good Rainbow Orb changer, so you do have that in your back pocket. But definitely go more dodge on this character, because he can definitely save you in tight situations. So that's gonna be my top 10 characters for the Cell Max event. As far as honorable mentions, I would definitely say these guys are honorable mentions for the Cell Max event. And the reason why is because this Vegeta actually stacks attack and defense for the first 3 turns. And also, if you do have a Goku on your turn, he does become he does become an orb changer, which becomes very self-sufficient. And on top of that, he does build up his chance of dodge, which is 30%. So against Cell in this last phase, this Vegeta is actually very useful with his EZA. The only thing is that he is a honorable mention, and the reason why is because he can be replaced, because he is on like Pure Saiyans, for example. And Pure Saiyans, like, you can definitely rock this Goku instead, or you can rock like any of these other characters over Vegeta. So that's the reason why he's gonna be an honorable mention. But if you're missing certain characters, you can definitely bring this Vegeta, and he can be can still be very useful in this event here. And another character I also want to do as an honorable mention is going to be here the Xeno Vegeta. Again, this Xeno Vegeta is not very common because he is a Dragon Ball Hero card collection, so he's not that common to get, but he can actually be really good in this event here because he does greatly raise attack and defense on his super attack, and he also is a 40% support to the Vegeta's family, But the only thing is that if you're going to rock him on a 200% leader skill, which is only going to be underneath the Majin Vegeta on global right now, he is not going to survive a super attack from Cell Max here. Because even with like 600k of defense, you're still taking 500k of damage from this Cell Max, which is still pretty good. But again, the issue is that with this Majin Vegeta, if you're rocking if you're trying to rock here his 200% leader skill, which is mostly composed of Vegeta cards because of Gifted Warriors, your HP is only going to be like max 600k. So again, that's why this Vegeta is good, but the team that he's on right now, the HP is just not there for him. So unfortunately, he is going to be an honorable mention. And I guess one more character I will say is going to be an honorable mention. Let's go here to Goku's family here. I guess he will be an honorable mention. But it is going to be a big risk here, and the character I'm talking about is going to be here, UI Goku. UI Goku, I've just watched Nano's video, and I could not believe the dodges he got with this UI Goku. But UI Goku is still a very good character, because he does have here a great chance of evading enemies' attack here, and he also has a revival in your back pocket. If, in tight situations, you can actually use it here. But you can also triple super and triple crit. But more importantly, like, he does have a great chance of dodging. So UI Goku can actually give you the victory. But if he gets hit in this last phase, like, he can only take one hit because he's taking 530k of damage per normal. So, or even 600k depending on your hidden potential system. But yeah, that's gonna be it here for my top 10 units for the Cell Max event. Hopefully this was very helpful for you guys for this event here to get it done. So yeah, I mean, again, this is only for global. JP would be definitely different, but for global players, since it's a much more difficult, I thought I'd make this video here to help you guys out here. All right, so again, that's gonna be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button, sub for more videos coming down below. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know what you guys think about the Cell Max event. Did you finally beat it? Did you not beat it? Or were you even close to actually beating it? All right, so again, I'll say thank you for watching, and hopefully I see you guys on the next one. Peace.